Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, today's Friday, and it's the first week of December, and it's been an exciting week. I guided here on the Farm 13 in Headwaters today, and I'll tell you about that. But last Saturday, after I did the what's happening, Roland, I did a deal at Bass Pro Shop with Jerry Brousseau, my fishing partner, and we did like a toy drive. And what we did, we went to the Bass Pro Shop thing, and it was there in Fort Myers, and we had our boats, this boat here, and Jerry had his big Ranger boat. We parked it outside of the Bass Pro Shop store, and we had a sign on there, you know, donate toys. And I signed autographs and hats, and we got some bicycles. In fact, Jimmy Houston contributed a bicycle. I contributed a bicycle. We had about 10 bicycles, and a lot of toys, hundreds of toys. And so as people would come out of the store, it was really kind of cool. You know, I'd say, they'd say, hey, Roland, hey, how you doing? How about an autograph? I'd say, sure, autograph. I said, by the way, this is a toy drive, and we'd really appreciate a toy. So they'd run inside and get a toy of some sort. And, you know, see, after the hurricane, what happened, we had two really big storms lately down here in South Florida, and there were a lot of inundated homes and a lot of people and a lot of kids with no homes. And so that was really what the toy drive's for. It was kind of an aftermath of all the hurricane and bad weather we've had. And so it's really been a godsend, and I really enjoyed doing that. Of course, Chuck Stevens was there, the manager of the Bass Pro Shop store, and he helped with everything, and it just really went well. Now, all week I was also Christmas shopping with my wife Judy, and that was kind of cool. And we did a little of that. But then today I fished with a really good guy, Harry Williams, one of my regular tournament guys that I fish with all the time, and one of my regular guide parties. And we fished half the day at Farm 13, which is the lower end of the Stick Marsh area, and that's where the water's coming in from Garcia. It's a big boil. They call it I guess they call it the aquarium or something. There's just thousands of fish in there. There were so many fish that today I took a rattle trap, or it wasn't really a rattle trap. It was a Spro. I forgot what it was. It was like a rattle trap looking thing. Anyway, I've cast every second or third cast. I'd hook a shad, and the shad was so thick in there. There were so many thousands of shad. There were thousands of bass biting on the shad, but it was hard to get them to bite a lure. So what I did do, and in fact it was kind of cool, this fluke, and I talked about this before. I take a fluke on a favorite rod and reel like this one, and I'll take a fluke and I'll just cast it up into the current, and it doesn't have any weight. This fluke is just weightless. And I mean, I'm talking about, I just throw it just as far as I could up in the current and just watch the line. I'll be a line watcher. And as the line's coming down, you know, all of a sudden you see it twitch, and that's a fish got it. Now, I know there's all sorts of bait and they're eating all sorts of shad, but this fluke somehow or other does it. I can't tell you how it does it, but we caught like 20 on this fluke today. In fact, at one point, there was a shadow coming in. This is not the shadow side, but that would be the shadow side. But today the sun was coming in from the other way, and I'd take the current was up this way. I'd drop the fluke right here by the boat, and the current would wash it down the side of the boat, and underneath the boat, we caught 7 or 8 bass under this boat. Just taking the fluke on just a couple feet of line and just dropping it right down. These are a couple 3 and 4 pounders. But the bigger fish, I didn't show you this, but I have a big Carolina rig, and Harry Williams, my guide party today, he caught like 10 real nice bass. He had a couple 5-pounders, and we'd taken the big Carolina rig with a great big giant swimming worm, the U-Vibe, and we'd drag it slowly on the bottom, and that really paid off. And so that was probably our best bet for the big fish. We caught another couple fish on the old Roland Martin spinnerbait. Again, just kind of slow rolling it through the bait. You'd feel it hit the bait. You'd feel it hit all the shad and stuff. But for some reason, it's a reaction strike. You know, the one thing about about bass. Bass, a lot of times, there's a couple reasons why they bite. They bite because they're hungry. Okay, we know that they're biting. But they also bite because of reflex action. And if you take a bass, it's like a predator, like a cat. When you roll a ball to a cat, you know, he'll just reflexively, out of reflex action, jump at the ball. And that's the same thing with a spinnerbait. If you come, the noisy spinnerbait doesn't really replicate much of anything, but when it comes right in front of that bass's face, it's a reflex action, and he just jumps out and grabs it. And so we catch some fish on rattle traps. We catch some fish on spinnerbaits. Now, we know that here at the Headwaters and here at the Farm 13, when there's moving water, the shiner is the king deal. You can take a shiner, put it on about a 4-foot float, and all different size shiners, small shiners, big shiners, whatever shiners. We have to use circle hooks. That's the new requirement. But the shiner is golden. And so we caught about a dozen fish on shiners today. And you have to imagine, here was the deal. When I asked Harry today, there was a creel study guy by the name of Jim at the boat dock. And Jim said, "How many fish did you catch today, Roland?" I said, well, Jim, I think we caught at least 70, but my partner Harry says we caught 100. Now that was split between two places, because we caught 30 or 40 bass this morning on Carolina rigs, on spinnerbaits, on flukes, on shiners, and even on topwater. Even on this topwater, in that moving water where it's coming in from the Garcia Reservoir. That little Pop 80 is catching them, and you just kind of let it swim slowly in the current, just kind of move it slow and easy, and you catch, in fact, 4 and 5 pound bass. But anyway, we did that until 9:30. Then at 9:30, I moved up the lake, and I came to the Headwaters Lake. I launched the boat to the Headwaters Lake, and I have beautiful golden shiners. I have my oxygen tank in there, and I've caught some more bait. And I have them all in the boat right now. Big, nice, big golden shiners. I'm all ready to go. And we took shiners, and we caught. The bite was so good today. We could only fish 2 rods. I couldn't keep up with 2 rods. I couldn't get bait fast enough on 2 rods. It was less than 5 seconds in the water. And about 20 different times we'd throw the shiner in there. We'd count 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Boom! The shiner would be down. And in fact, when the shiner would get off the hook and be dead or flopping or just laying, we had bass just exploding around the boat. Now we caught a little over 7 pound bass. We caught a couple 6 pound bass, a couple 5 pound bass. This was on Headwaters. It was a wide open bite. Caught at least 40 or 45 bass on shiners, just going crazy. Well, then Harry had to leave, so he's out of here now. He went home. At about 2 o'clock, we said, hey, after 4 hours of hard shiner fishing, we were out of shiners. We'd caught, like I say, just a whole ton of bass. It was really, really something. How many minutes did I have here? Oh, I got 8 minutes already. Anyway, that's kind of what's happening right now. It's a wide open bite. Tomorrow's Saturday, and I'll have another guide party. So my normal deal is, as long as they're pulling water, as long as they're pumping water, it's really a good bite. I'll go with my artificials in the morning, and we'll catch a lot, 20 or 30 or 40 bass on topwater, on worms, on flukes, and maybe a couple even bigger. In fact, there was a guy yesterday that caught an 8.5 on a well, it was an Aruca shad. Okay, the Aruca shad by Spro is what I built. I built for them years ago, and we have the Aruca shad. And so the Aruca shad was what the guy caught, this 8.5 pounder there at the Farm 13 at where the water's coming in from Garcia. Anyway, so there's a few big fish. Now today we didn't catch a big fish. There's another guide that guides up there named Kenny Haas, and Kenny was there. He was throwing a big bull shad. I got one of these big bull shads. This guy from Tennessee makes these bull shads, and he brings them over. Maybe he's Alabama, but anyway, they're $60 a piece, and I got one of them. I've caught a couple bass on it, but anyway, they religiously fish these big bull shad in those areas. They only catch a couple bass, but they usually catch a 6 or 7 or 8 or not even 9-pound bass on a 10-pound bass on this big bull shad. It's a big swim bait about this big. And so that's what Kenny's doing. He did that today, and he said he had a couple nice ones. So there's a lot of ways to catch fish right now. Here at the Stick Marsh and the Farm 13 and particularly the Headwaters, it's a wide open bite. And I'm going to tell you because of all the guys that fish all over the country and all around, if you ask 100 people where the best place to fish right now, probably right here on the St. Johns River Marsh. There's about 5 or 6 big lakes that you can fish right now. You can fish Kenansville on the other side. You can fish, of course, Farm 13, Stick Marsh, Garcia, of course the Headwaters, the brand new Headwaters, and then to the north there's Three Forks. So there's just like 100,000 acres of lakes. Blue Cypress Lake is also connected to it. So there's just a lot of opportunities. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you want to catch big bass, what you want to kind of do is watch these cold fronts. There's a real windy day today, blew almost 30 miles an hour, cooled the water down. That's kind of good. What you want for really good fishing, and now it's December, is you want a cold front, which we're on a cold front right now, kind of coming up on one. And as that cold front passes, and as the water starts to rise, rising water temperature is the key to really good fishing here in Florida. So my prediction is this next week, when the water starts to rise again, the water temperatures rise, that's going to be a trigger of big spawn. So the really big spawn of the year is going to occur in just this next week, and this is the first couple of days of December right now. So it's starting. This is the start of the really super duper big bass binge that we're going to have here. Anyway, folks, that's kind of what's happening in my world. Lots of fishing. Of course, I'm going to be fishing for the next 10 days, and then I got Christmas to worry about. But right now, it's big bass time here in the Central Florida area. So I hope I've taught you a few things about how you can catch some big bass too. Hey, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.